let's move to the UK. The BBC's Israel Hamas coverage is said to have breached the broadcaster's own editorial guidelines over 1,500 times. This is according to a new report compiled by a team of lawyers and data scientists. Douglas, they analysed some 9 million words of coverage across several languages and different platforms. The question has to be asked, why does the BBC have this deeply worrying pattern of bias against Israel?
It always has done. I'm slightly surprised that they've been found to have only 1,500 breaches of their own guidelines in recent months. I'd have put the figure rather higher than that. There was a report some years ago into the BBC's anti-Israel bias inside the BBC, and the report was never released. And I suspect, as many other people do, that it's because it came to the same conclusions that this report has come to. You can absolutely smell it in Broadcasting House. There's a straightforward editorial line on the Israel issue, which is that the BBC believes that Israel always is in the wrong and can do no right. And its coverage is grossly unfair. It has been for years. And I think this is something that should be addressed. I mean, you see it in headline after headline, day after day. The BBC will report things from effectively the angle of Hamas. It happened recently with the issue of the four hostages who were killed in captivity. The way in which the BBC reported this, it was as if the Israelis had killed the Israeli hostages. It was as if the Israeli Prime Minister had killed the Israeli hostages. The whole onus of the coverage was as if there was an Israeli mistake or error or Israeli intransigence that had caused it. And the coverage did not acknowledge the fact that in most civilized media entities, as well as societies, it is deemed to be wrong to break into somebody else's country, break into their house, kill their citizens and kidnap them, then hold them in tunnels for almost a year and then shoot them in the head. Most people would regard that as being on the people who did it. But oh, not the BBC, because you can always find Jeremy Bowen or another of their correspondents always taking the side, always of just anyone who's anti-Israel. It's an endemic bias in the BBC. It's completely sick. And of course, they're welcome to do that. If they want to just be a pro-Hamas, anti-Israel channel, they can do that. But there's a caveat with them, which is that they're not in the free market. They're not in the exchange of free ideas. They're paid for by the license payers, by the taxpayers in the UK. So that's why this matters. It's not like The Guardian. The Guardian can do what it wants. This is the national broadcaster. And so I think that a better standard should be expected of them and indeed demanded.
Now, before you go, Princess Kate has just in recent hours released a video announcing she has completed her chemotherapy treatment.
To have finally completed my chemotherapy treatment. The last 9 months have been incredibly tough for us as a family. Life as you know it can change in an instant, and we've had to find a way to navigate the stormy waters and road unknown.
Douglas, she also speaks about looking forward to being back at work and undertaking public engagements. It's a beautifully shot video, I've got to say. It has astonished royal watchers. I love it. I think we should have more communication like this. There was so much secrecy around her treatment, and she's now coming out and sharing it all with the world.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen it. It certainly looks very glossy, but it's a happy story at a time when we need happy stories. She's been a remarkable figure in public life ever since she first entered public life. Unlike some people we could think of, she's been extraordinarily devoted in her work. And, I hope that her return to public life, I think it will be seen, it'll be welcomed enormously warmly by the British public and others. She's never put a foot wrong since she became a public figure. She's in one of the toughest jobs in the world in a way, because if she's in one of those positions where if you scowled once, you'd get a lifelong reputation for being a grump. So it's wonderful that she'll be back. The royal family's got rather too few working members at the moment, so having one of their absolute A-list royals back is good news.
And she's shown such enormous grace because the couple you haven't mentioned, Harry and Meghan, have poured all sorts of vitriol her way and her husband's way. She knows she can't respond. She just has to keep a dignified silence, which must be enormously difficult, but she's done it. She's done her duty, and we thank her for it. Douglas Murray, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.